back. You're watching Liverpool Live, Channel 18. I'm Sarah Blizzard. Well, in just a while, we're going to be going back live to the Heron Eccles playing fields in Allerton for our second match of the day for the Merseyside International Youth Footy Festival. But first, a look at the top stories for today. Police are hunting 3 men who robbed Summerfields in St Mary's Road in Garston. The robbery happened shortly after 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. A large amount of cash was taken from Securicorps personnel. The men escaped in what was believed to be a maroon Vauxhall Cavalier. Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. Royal Mail postal workers are hoping to collect an extra 2,000 signatures for their petition to save the Liverpool sorting office. So far, the CWU members have collected 18,000 signatures, but the target is 20,000. The petition will be presented to the Trade and Industry Minister Ian McCartney on the 26th of this month. The CWU members are campaigning to save the Liverpool offices from being transferred to Warrington and Crewe. The union says up to 1,200 Liverpool jobs will be displaced if the move goes ahead. The petition is being circulated in Huyton today. A group of documentary makers are appealing for the return of their stolen van. The transit van was stolen last night from the city centre. It contains taped footage of their current project, which is the Everton football debate. A reward has been offered for the return of the vehicle. The registration is J130MCM. That's a van, it's J130MCM. Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. Former Brookside actor Danny McCall is starring in The Sound of Fury at the Empire Theatre. McCall, who portrays the 60s legend Billy Fury, shared a few inside secrets with our reporter Suzanne Morris.
Danny, how easy is it to become Billy Fury?
Easy? I wouldn't say it was easy. To be perfectly honest, I took this role on 2 years ago and in the Liverpool Playhouse. It was only supposed to be like a summer show for 7 weeks at the Playhouse, and because of the demand, we took it on a tour. And people think I look like Billy Fury on offstage. I don't think I do. And I think a lot of the magic of Billy Fury is sort of created with the costumes, the hair, and on stage with the lights and things like that. I mean, I can't see myself in Billy Fury or vice versa. But on stage and, you know, in all the press and the reviews that we've had, apparently I look very, very much like him. I mean, the other thing is, Billy Fury had these, like, really sort of weird mannerisms on stage. He did all this sort of, like, shoulders up and lip curl and things like that, and he had very strange moves. He was a very sexual performer, sort of overtly sexual on stage. And nobody actually taught me how to do it. It just sort of came naturally. So, you know, when I get asked the question, you know, how do you turn yourself into Billy Fury, I don't really know how to answer that, because it just happens. Very strange.
So, what actually brought you into acting?
I don't know, really. I did it at school, and then I went to... I did an audition for a musical in the Neptune Theatre here in Liverpool called The Need for Heroes. That was based on another sort of pop star of the 60s, Rory Storm. And I got the part, and I did it, and it went down really well. And then I wanted to get an equity card, and those days it was really hard to get an equity card. And one of the routes was to sing around the pubs and clubs, so I borrowed the money off my mum and bought myself a PA system and a little, you know, cassette thing. I went out and sang on all the roughest pubs in Liverpool, in like Netherfield Road and Scotland Road, you know. And I went down a bomb, and then I got my equity card. And so I sort of sang first before I went into acting. And
Perfect training for this, then.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you can survive in Netherfield Road, you can survive anywhere. It's brilliant.
Danny, I must ask you,
Yeah.
I'm really new at this job,
Right.
but I see that you're a real professional with your makeup.
Oh, yeah.
Could you give me some tips, please?
Well,
I'm serious.
I'll let you into a little secret. I don't really do it myself. I have a nice little girl that comes in and plasters me on. Otherwise, I'd probably look like Coco the Clown, not Billy Fury. I think, well, I mean, for television, I mean, normally you just need a bit of base makeup, but for theatre, because, you know, the lights and stuff, and your face has got to be exaggerated and stuff to be seen at the back. It is quite heavy. It's quite... Sometimes I forget and go out and I look like a transvestite.
That's not a bad thing, is it? Well, at least you have a great social life, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Now, August Bank Holiday Monday was due to see the opening of the Matthew Street Festival in Liverpool city centre, but unfortunately it's been cancelled. Dave Mason has the details.
Why is it that the Matthew Street Festival isn't happening this year in the same full effect that it has in previous years? Cabin City Tours, who organised the Matthew Street Festival, felt that they couldn't put on the whole show this year. I think it had outgrown them. They certainly lost money last year, and it's a tragedy that we're not seeing all the excitement and the razzmatazz that we had last year, and it made the city centre such a vibrant place over the August bank holiday.
Must be very disappointing for a city that does attract so much tourism anyway, when one considers that 70,000 people came here last year for that event.
Yeah, we had a great event. It was a unique event. It should have been supported not just by the city, but also by all the businesses locally. And we had a conference on it last year at the university. There's been a lot of talk, and sadly nothing's happened.
Who would you blame or put that down to?
I wouldn't put it down to one single person. I'd put it down to everybody. I would say that the city must share in the blame. It's very easy for people to say, oh, it's this person's fault or it's that person's fault. But in actual fact, unless there is proper cooperation, proper partnership, proper coordination of what is happening in the city centre will remain a fragmented place, and it will be eclipsed by other places such as Manchester, and we really need to organise it properly. We really need to think about it and actually act and do things and not just talk.
Why do you think that contingency plans weren't put in place to ensure that funding was set aside, and perhaps even an application to the lottery?
The organisers last year felt very disappointed that they lost money from really an awful lot of hard work and resources that they put into it. And I think they were then deflated. They didn't get the support they needed. They tried to get the support. That support wasn't forthcoming.
Is it not just another example of the festival in Liverpool which has died through lack of support, funding and interest, rather like the Comedy Festival did in 1994?
It is, but I think this stands out even more than the Comedy Festival, because if you ask people from far-off places, what do they know about Liverpool? They mention Beatles, they mention the Cavern, they mention the football clubs as well. So this is something far and beyond what happened with the comedy, which essentially was for local people. And every city has its street events. I mean, we had a wonderful event last week that was happening in the city. So the Matthew Street Festival stands out far and beyond that. And I think substantial resources ought to be put into it. Yes, we need help from the city, we need help from the people out there, and anybody that's watching and viewing and says, I want to be a part of this, come forward, come and help, and that will be greatly appreciated.
Merseyside Ambulance Service are testing a new emergency siren. Called the Localizer, it will make it easier for motorists to gauge which direction the ambulance is coming from, as Suzanne Morris reports.
You're driving along in your car and you hear the familiar ambulance siren, but have you ever been confused as to where exactly it's coming from? Well, the Localizer, a new siren unique to Merseyside, even the Americans haven't got it. Prince Charles has given it an award for innovation, and we're here to check out what it sounds like.
Well, we're always looking at trying to improve our performance. We are the fastest responding service in the country, and this is one of the ways which we may be able to improve. Traffic is heavy in the city, and the trials in other parts of the country may indicate that this is a better type of siren, and we're going to leave it up to our crews to decide if that's the case or not.
So what's the difference with this new Localizer siren compared to the old one?
The difference primarily is down to the direction, or being able to identify the direction of the ambulance is coming from. In the past, the Whale and Yelp siren is hard to identify if the vehicle's behind you, at the side of you, or coming across the junction. The inventors of this siren say that they'll be able to tell a direction a lot more easier, or other road users will be, from where they're coming from, giving them more time to manoeuvre and move out of the way.
So what specifically is the difference, though? Because a noise is a noise, surely?
Yes, I think it's called the white noise that they've actually established or they've actually invented. And it's a condensed wail, if you like, or a condensed yelp of the silence as it is now. So they just altered it around slightly and made it shorter bursts and condensed the sound, and I believe the inventors say it is quite good.
So how many tests have you done with it so far?
It's only been operational this week. This is the first time it's been out operational with the crew based at Fazakerley, and it'll be on trial for a couple of months, so all crews have a good opportunity to ascertain if it is a benefit or not.
So how much input has John Moores University had with the development of it?
Obviously they were the people who were piloting the development, so they've been involved from an early start, if you like, from the early days, and they're constantly monitoring the situation with ourselves and looking at the results of the evaluation.
And how many ambulances are fitted with the new siren at the moment?
Just the one for the time being until we make a full evaluation. It's at a busy station at Fazackley where there's a number of crews rotate around. We have 4 emergency vehicles running out of Fazackley, so we'll have plenty of opportunity to rotate those staff around the vehicle.
Right, so basically it's very serious. If you hear that noise, pull over and let the ambulance pass.
That's right, exactly.
Liverpool Football Club officials will begin contract negotiations with Steve McNamara. The England winger was almost poached by Barcelona for a $12 million deal, but it fell through. McNamara, whose contract expires at the end of next season, says he's happy to remain at Anfield. However, to date, Reds officials and McNamara have failed to reach an agreement on a new contract. And former Liverpool player Ian Rush has signed on for Newcastle. The 36-year-old veteran player was with Leeds but has joined the Magpies on a free transfer. The move will see Rush and former Reds player Kenny Dalglish, now the manager of Newcastle, reunited. Well, it's been another hot and sunny day today. Let's hope it's going to stay that way for the rest of the weekend. Plenty of blue skies at the moment, but the odd thunderstorm could be hanging around later this evening. Temperatures reaching, though, 25 degrees Celsius. Well, we now can go live to the Heron Eccles playing fields in Allerton for our second match of the day as part of the Merseyside International Youth Football Festival. Over now to Jerry Rich.
Merseyside International Youth Football Festival. Welcome back to Heron Eccles Field, where you join us for the second semi-final here live from Liverpool Live, Channel 18. Once again, Brunswick boys were in the under-15 section, have fought the way to the semi-final, and they're playing a team from South Africa called Robertsham Callies, and believe you me, this is going to be an even more exciting match, and you're going to get all the action live here from Liverpool Live, Channel 18. The referee is just getting ready for the kick-off, and you join us once again, Jerry Rich and Rob Heron, for your full commentary.
You should be able to read that. Be able to read that.
And referee blows his whistle for the kickoff. Right, we've got Brunswick under 15s in this semi-final, playing in the blue and white stripes, and Robertsham Callies, who are from South Africa, playing in the green shirt and the green and white hoop socks. Rob, I think we can expect a little bit more from these boys.
I think so, yeah. Just seeing a few of the early exchanges, it's quite a step up, really, from what we've seen before. Not necessarily in quality, but there's a lot more physical presence, obviously, on the pitch. And I think we're in for a pretty good game here this afternoon. Especially the foreign sides, I think, are always coming over for a tournament like this, always want to do well and put in a good show for themselves, representing their country. And I'm looking forward to seeing the South African side. We've heard a bit about them, but not too much. So we'll have to see how they...
Well, I think you're right, and the referee's going to have his work cut out to contain these boys, Mr. O'Neill. And we've got Stephen Bleasdale and Peter Banks as our assistant referees today. If you have just joined us, you're watching full commentary and full coverage live here on Liverpool Live, Channel 18, of Brunswick under 15s in the blue and white strip, attacking Robertsham Callies, the green tops. And this is a semi-final. They're playing for a place in tomorrow's final. And as with the last match, we will bring you full coverage of this game. If it should be level at full time, they will play extra time. And if it's still level, then we'll go to penalties. But what you can be sure of is Liverpool Live will bring you full coverage as it happens on Channel 18.
Well, I can see we're going to have a few problems pronouncing some of these foreign names. Bit of a handful, some of these, but...
Well, that's why I thought I would leave the South Africans to you, because I know you've got O-level French.
Which is going to stand me in really good stead here
well, it's
with
an
the South
O-level.
African players. So, well, it's certainly a throw to South Africa on the far side. fact, number 9's name's Pepper. That one's a bit easier to pronounce, so hopefully he'll see a lot of the ball today. Certainly had enough of the early exchanges for the South Africans. That's McGregor.
Well, if you have just joined us, as I keep repeating, because constantly we have new viewers tuning in to our Liverpool Live, Channel 18. Liverpool's #1 cable station. You're watching the semi-final of the Merseyside International Youth Football Festival. Brunswick boys playing in the blue and white stripes, and attacking the goal to my right, which is defended by Robertsham Callies from South Africa, in the green and white shirts with the green and white hoop socks. And I have to correct myself there, actually, because in this upper age section, Brunswick are referred to as the Brunswick Colts. Thanks for pointing that out to me, Rob.
Well, that's what I've got written down here, and we've got to go with the information we've got, haven't we, Jerry?
I think so.
In fact, number 10 looks quite lively to me. Demotta, he's called, for South Africa. Playing in a striker's role. Be interesting to see how he fares up against the central defensive partnership of Brown and James, or Brown and Kelly, rather, for Brunswick Colts. And here the Colts come now, but they've lost out to the South Africans.